This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. There are many films that show the relationship between a patient and their therapist, such as Good Will Hunting, Analyze This, and even The Sopranos. They can take comical or dramatic turns in their approach to reach positive mental health wellness. While we all escape into these worlds of fiction, we all must come back to reality where issues are real. Sometimes we all need a little help trying to find our inner peace, and that is where BetterHelp comes in. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 25,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, you just answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you can talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at a more affordable price. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/screenaddicts. That's betterhelp.com/screenaddicts.
Do you need to trim up the home box office before taking your lady or gent to the motion picture show? Then I suggest you go to manscaped.com and purchase the Lawnmower 4.0. The Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer helps reduce nicks, it reduces the risk of ingrown hairs, and it reduces the risk of grooming accidents. If you go to manscaped.com, be sure to enter in the promo code SCREENADDICTS for an additional 20% off your order and free shipping. Again, that is promo code SCREENADDICTS. SCREENADDICTS, and we'll see you at the movies.
Recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Fire up the projectors, turn on your TVs, and adjust your antennas. It's time for the Screen Addicts Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the Screen Addicts Podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Cinema Mama's Boy, Steven Sosa.
Damn it, you stole my name. And I am your other co-host, Chris. I'm also a Mama's Boy, Viegas.
The Mama's Boys Podcast.
Oh, man. This week, yes, it is for sure.
You know, well, obviously, Mama's Boys, we're talking about our moms. I guess Mother's Day is coming up this weekend, and I hope everyone has got their gifts in order. And if you live out of town, away from your parents or your mother, be sure you send that shit early because, man, the post office is never on time when you need it to be. And, you know, I don't know about you, Chris, but, like, I have been just ordering stuff from Amazon for my mom, and I'm just delivering it straight to her house because I can't go to UPS or I can't go to the post office even and just go in there and say, hey, can you have this? And you would think that they would want to be there as fast as possible, right? To be competing with someone like Amazon. You know, you have that 2-day shipping.
Oh, they don't care.
No, they don't. They do not care at all. Or FedEx. They just say, okay, you want it ground? That'll be $15. Or you want it 2-day? That'll be like $55. Like $55. No, I'll take the ground, and if it gets there before Mother's Day, great. If it doesn't, well, then I'll probably have a phone call from my mom. But
Mom, it's in the mail, I promise.
Yeah, it's better that you got something that didn't get anything at all. And you know what my mom does? It's like, for example, just today, she called me and says, hey, I got a package from you today from Amazon. Thank you. And already opened it up, man. Like my mom and my dad do the same thing. Like they'll get something early, like way before the scheduled holiday, whether it's Mother's Day, Father's Day, their birthdays, or Christmas, or any other time that I'm buying them gifts. Never fails, man. They will open that shit as soon as they get it. Like they cannot wait. Like they can't wait for the actual day to open their stuff. And so my mom, she gets one of her gifts today and just, oh, thank you so much. I needed that. Thank you. I'm like, Ma, it's not even Mother's Day. Like, it's not until this weekend. What are you doing? But that being said, Mother's Day is coming up. And what actually brought up this entire topic today was not only the fact that it was Mother's Day, but Book Club 2, Chapter 2, the sequel to the Book Club original movie, which was a big hit a couple of years ago. I started to think, in our brainstorming aspect of things, and we were like, oh, book club comes out. Oh, moms love that movie. Hey, you know what? it's Mother's Day. What are other movies that moms love? So, not only moms, but our moms in particular. So, we will be talking about the top 3 favorite movies of our moms. And I don't know about you, Chris, but I had some written down just to see if I knew my mom well enough to know, and I was pretty close, man. She did kind of omit some from my list, and she did make some corrections, and I felt pretty good about, narrowing it down to what hers were. What about you? Were you close in what you thought?
I wasn't even close. She surprised the crap out of me with her top 3. I had some picked out that I for sure thought that they were going to be top 3, and it ended up not even close. So I guess I'll have some mom honorable mentions.
Yeah, I definitely have some honorable mentions too. But I guess with that being said, man, let's start with number 3. What's your number 3? Your mom's number 3.
My mom's number 3 favorite movie of all time. This one wasn't that big of a surprise, but it is my mom. So she went with 1965 Cinderella.
Okay.
The Roger and Hammerstein
Yeah.
version with Leslie Ann Warren.
Dude, you're kidding me.
No,
My mom literally picked that one too.
that's just what. Yeah, Leslie Ann Warren version.
Specifically Leslie Ann Warren.
Yep.
What, did we miss something here? Like, was this like a big...
I mean, our moms were friends, so.
And, I am going to tell you, though, my mom, I talked to her earlier, and she said Chris had called, or your mom just got off the phone with my mom today and said, did Steven ask you what your 3 favorite movies were? Chris just asked me. I was just wondering, like, what did he say? Or I guess because they knew that we were talking about it tonight.
Yeah. I told my mom, I was like, hey, I'm going to talk about your favorite movies. What are they? So
that is insane that they both picked that movie. Like, I guess there's something specific about... I remember, that movie a long time ago. My mom had the tape.
Long time ago.
And had the DVD of it. Because, I mean, that's her number 3, too. Like, I was like, all right, Mom.
Hilarious.
I was like, you've got to rank these. Like, I know you can't, like, understand what I'm trying to say completely, but rank them. She's like, well, I don't know. I like all of them. I'm like, yeah, I know. But, like, out of all of these, like, pick 3 that you would want me to say are your favorite movies. So, yeah, number 3 is her. And that's what I was just Googling up. I was like, what year did that Cinderella movie come out?
1965. Yep.
Wow. I thought it was, like, in the 80s or something. But
no, man, it's super old. And the biggest thing I think my mom loves, and, I've heard my mom sing songs from this movie forever and ever. And there's a song in there when I guess it's Cinderella and the prince's first dance. It's called 10 Minutes Ago.
Yeah.
And my mom just goes off on this song, knows every lyric, everything. And she just, it'll enter her head and it won't leave for like months.
Wow.
So
that is insane. I wonder what other... You know what? I think that... Like you said, they're both friends. They're the same age. So it's like, I think that they're probably going to have a lot of similarities in their list. But to narrow it down to that specific Cinderella movie is crazy. That is insane. And, I mean, Leslie Ann Warren, she was in... I mostly remember her in Clue from the 80s. Like, I don't really know too many other movies with Leslie Ann Warren aside from that Cinderella movie. And... yeah, it was a live action version too for people that don't realize. But
and I think it was the first live action adaptation of Cinderella, wasn't it?
It very well could have been. And I almost wanted to say that it was a made for TV movie or something like that too, because it had like a...
I think so.
Like a low budget. Or
low
something.
budget.
But I mean, it spoke to both of our moms, so I guess it was pretty. And I wondered. I should have asked my mom if she just likes Cinderella movies or just that one in particular. I guess probably just that one in particular. But wow, that is baffling that it was both the same one. Well, I guess since that was our number 3s, then go ahead with
number 3s.
Go for
number
your number 2. Yeah.
Okay, so number 2, my mom couldn't decide on number 2, so it was a tie. It was a tie for her, and both were sports movies. one is A League of Their Own, which we just talked about
Yeah.
not too long ago, and the other one was Remember the Titans.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah.
So those are tied for her number 2, and the reason she gives me on these is one, because, man, growing up, we were a sports family. Everything revolved around sports, me playing sports, my sister playing sports. We just had a good time. My mom coached a couple of my teams, and, there was times that people were counting her out because she was a female coach. But she ended up, the team that she coached of mine is a softball team. We ended up doing way, way better than most of the male coach teams. And, she likes to remind me a lot that, you remember that time when I coached you and we went to the world tournament and da-da-da? Yes, Mom, I remember it. It was great. Thank you so much.
That's a movie in itself right there.
Right? So those are her number 2 picks is A League of Their Own and Remember the Titans.
She couldn't settle on one, right?
She couldn't.
She picks like I do. I kind of like that style. Multiple picks for one.
That's right.
Pretty good. All right. Yeah, both great movies. Yeah, it is funny that we just talked about A League of Their Own in length on our baseball episode that everybody should go back and check out. But yeah, I guess that with your parents, like what you end up watching starts with them. Like it's what you share with them, and then it branches off from there. Like you have shared interests, and then you start to cultivate your own taste in movies and stuff. And yeah, that's a good movie. Yeah, and Remember the Titans. It's a lot newer too, because we were in high school when that came out.
Yeah, we were in high school, but it takes place the era is like when she was in high school. She was in school, so she remembers quite a bit of the issues that were in that movie. So
yeah. All right, sounds good, man. Well, my mom's number 2 selection here is the complete opposite of sports, and it too is a newer film that was released in 2006, and that would be The Devil Wears Prada. Now, my mom, she loves to shop, man. She loves to go to the mall.
She does.
She loves clothes. She loves fashion. She loves all that stuff. Like, I can't recall a time when there wasn't a new issue of Style magazine, on the kitchen or on the coffee table in the living room and stuff. So she's always had a keen sense of fashion and had an eye for it. And when The Devil Wears Prada came out, oh my goodness, she absolutely loved that movie. She thought it was so good. As a matter of fact, there was a weird story about that. I was in Dallas and I was living there already, and my mom was visiting. So me, her, and my Aunt Belma, her sister, all went to go see that at the theater, and they loved it. They were raving about it. And dude, we were leaving the theater and got into a massive car wreck leaving the theater. So I really associate The Devil Wears Prada with literal
pain?
car crash, yeah, which was the complete opposite of the movie, because the movie's really good. It's a really funny, it's a really good movie, and the acting's great. Meryl Streep received one of her 1,000 Oscar nominations for it. Anne Hathaway is great in it. Emily Blunt began her career basically on that movie. Stanley Tucci's always great. But I always think of that car crash after that movie. And it was just so crazy because, yeah, my mom was in the passenger seat. My Aunt Belma was driving. I'm in the back seat. And then I don't really recall what happened exactly. I just know that, someone ran a red light basically. So we were going and then they clipped the front of the car, and man, you get into that adrenaline rush, man. So I open the door and I run over to my mom's side and open her door, and she's like, okay. And then I run over to my Aunt Belma's side, and her her door is wedged in and stuff. So it was pretty intense. And they were just kind of shaken up. But yeah, it's so funny how I think of that. I associate The Devil Wears Prada with that situation, because it's pretty unforgettable. But yeah, number 2, and that's not exactly why my mom again is her favorite, because I wonder if she even associates that movie with the car crash, because she's watched that movie so many times when it came out on DVD. I'm pretty sure I bought it for her for a gift Name Your Holiday, and she's watched it nonstop, and I think she still like just throws it in there. She just loves that movie. But yeah, her number 2 pick is The Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, Tasha would love it. Tasha, anytime we come across that movie, we have to stop and watch it. No matter what part of the movie it's at, it's staying on.
Yeah.
And it's getting finished that day. So
do you say, are we going to watch that? And she goes, no, wasn't a question.
Pretty much.
It's I really, really like that movie. And you know what kind of pissed me off about the Cruella movie with Emma Stone, the one that just came out, was that it's basically The Devil Wears Prada. And I said to myself, I was like, man, this is kind of ripping off the movie a little bit. And I mean, I know like with Emma Thompson's character, it's a little bit more maniacal and intense, but still just this world of fashion and just kind of trying to survive against this, insane creator of the clothing. And I just really associated Cruella with The Devil Wears Prada, and not in a bad way. Like, I think if you're going to either pay homage to something or almost blatantly rip it off, I guess that's a pretty good one to choose from. But yeah, that's her number 2 is The Devil Wears Prada.
Cool. So I guess we got some honorable mentions.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to give you the list that I thought my mom was going to pick. Which I was way off. So first one is actually my favorite movie of all time is Last of the Mohicans. She's the one that showed me that movie the very first time. She made me watch it, and man, fell in love with it the very first time. So, I thought she liked it enough, like I did, but I mean, she said she likes it. It's just not better than Cinderella, I guess. I don't know.
Let me ask you something about was she not just in love with Daniel Day-Lewis? I mean, because it seemed like my mom really responded to that movie because she was like, he is so handsome. She liked him.
So my mom thought Daniel Day-Lewis was handsome, but my mom really liked the brother.
Oh, okay, yeah.
My mom thought the brother was hot. I was like, okay, as long as it wasn't the bald, mean Indian guy, you're fine.
Wes Duty. Yeah, he's too scary.
Oh, yeah. And then another movie that my mom always watches for some reason is Drumline.
Oh, okay.
And there's a running joke in my family as well with this one, because one Mother's Day, I believe it was a Mother's Day, my sister had bought her this movie and said, Mom, I bought you your favorite movie of all time. And when my mom opened the gift, she was all like, this isn't my favorite movie of all time. She goes, because my mom loves band music. My mom was in the band in high school, so she loves band music. So my sister just thought, this is your favorite movie then, because it has all the band music. And so every time that movie comes on or my mom's watching it, it's like, hey, Mom, it's your favorite movie ever. And she's like, shut up, it's not my favorite movie. I was like, then why are we watching it for the millionth time? And go ahead.
No, I was going to say, there was a time when Drumline had first came out, and dude, I would get enthralled with that final drum off where they're
the drum battle,
and they're dropping sticks on each other's bases.
Yeah,
it was really good. And I was thinking about that movie because you know how I was talking about Stepsisters. It's from the same director as Drumline. I said, man, this is so funny how this battling of name your musical style. And I mean, Drumline, not for nothing. And I did remember thinking Nick Cannon, I never took the guy seriously as this kind of, not necessarily ghetto threat or anything, but just he has to be a little hard, and he has to come off as kind of a badass
the
kid.
Thug.
Yeah, and he just does it. And dude, do you remember the part where him and his squad leader are in one-on-one, and they're doing that drum off, and then they throw their sticks at each other's faces? They're just holding the
oh yeah, they're pointing it at each other's face.
What is going on? Is this a stand-up? This is so stupid. But damn it, I've seen that movie 100 times. So your mom's onto something there. Like she won't. It basically seems like it's a movie she just really loves, but just doesn't want to admit she loves it.
I think that's it because there is. I mean, besides the drumming in that movie, there's really nothing else. I mean, you get Petey Pablo in there a little bit. But I don't know.
What else?
I don't know about the rest.
And then Zoe Saldana is in it. It's one of her first movies, and it's just so funny. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's like the Step Up movies, right? Like those movies on a plot are just so stupid. Like, who cares?
Dude.
Just get to the next dance routine already. Like, I don't care about the acting. I don't need character development. That's not what I'm here for. Just give me a dance. You know, and I hate to admit this, but the Step Up All In, the last one, where it's like a culmination of all of the best dancers from the previous like 4 movies. That final dance in that is so badass. Like, I will go and just randomly fire it up on YouTube and just watch that final dance. I was like, damn,
and practice it.
Yeah, I try, but it is so good. So I mean, same thing with Drumline. Like, I will go back and watch that final like drum up. It's just so funny.
That's hilarious. And I'm that way with Stomp the Yard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, those movies, man. They had their time. They had their time, that's for sure.
Columbus Short should have been an icon.
He was, and that's when like Chris Brown made his on-screen debut too,
That's
and
right.
then he got killed off.
And, well, he stomped something else. And, you know, he didn't really help himself out.
Yeah.
But yeah. So all right. So what other honorable mentions?
And my last honorable mention for my mom is going to be a movie called The 5 Heartbeats.
Oh, that's a great movie, man.
Dude, I love this movie, and this is why I thought 100% this movie was going to be on her list.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. I was like, really, Mom? This one? Again, over, like, Cinderella over this one? Yes, mijo. Okay. It's your list. I'm not going to argue.
And you talk about that movie. You've mentioned that movie multiple times on this podcast. Like, that's a really great, underrated movie. And Robert Townsend, I think he's a really solid writer, director, producer, actor. You know, he did a lot of that stuff. But
And I still have that soundtrack downloaded to my phone because I love the music in there.
Yeah.
It's good. And then I say that was the last one. I just want to throw these out. We don't have to talk about them. But I also thought Dirty Dancing, Glory, and Tombstone were going to be on this list, but they are not.
Wow. Okay. You know, so I mean, so far, like, hers aren't too bad. You know, I thought they were going to be something worse. She told my mom something a little bit. She was saying, "Well, I don't think they could talk about the movies that I really like to watch."
Oh my
like,
god!
Oh, good lord!
The Devil Wears Nada.
Did you just spoil her number one?
Damn it!
That's hilarious. But no, man, your mom, she's so funny. She's just like you. And then even my mom always mentioned, she's like, God, Chris acts just like her mom, like, or his mom, and he's the way he is because of his mom. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense to me.
100%.
But
I will claim it all day.
Sounds good. But yeah, I mean, my mom's honorable mentions, they weren't. I mean, she loves Something's Gotta Give with Diane Keaton and Jack Nicholson. And it's something funny about that movie is, like, she really loves that movie, but what she loves the most about it is that the fact that Keanu Reeves is going after Diane Keaton in that movie. Like, she loves this younger, attractive doctor going after the older woman. So I was like, oh my God, I don't want to know why else you watch that movie all the time. She's a big fan of the book club, the one that just came out, kind of inspiring the topic. And she's really excited for book club too. She wanted me to make a point to say she will be going to see it this weekend. So not surprised there. How Stella Got Her Groove Back, I think.
Yes.
I
associate that movie with your mom all the time because when that movie came out, or when she went to go watch it, I think our moms went to go watch it together or something to that fact. But I remember her leaving, because I think I was at your house and your mom was all, I'm going to go watch Stella get her groove back. I was like, damn, Esther, calm down.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want my mom to get her groove back. What's going on? But, that movie was pretty powerful in the way of women in their 40s just, like, taking their lives back, taking charge, and just dominating a younger man. Because what was Taye Diggs? He was like 20 years old in that movie, man. He was so young, like 21, 22. And, man, that was his first movie. He played that Jamaican. He had a Jamaican accent. And it was just so funny how women respond to that movie. They're like, yeah, girl, get it, because that was just the mentality. And my mom loved that movie. And, another one that she loved with Angela Bassett was Waiting to Exhale. She really loved that one with Whitney Houston and Loretta Devine. Man, that soundtrack was pretty good. But, man, and I was thinking about some other stuff. And she loves a lot of, like, black culture movies.
So does my mom.
And she was like, oh, don't say that because I don't want it to sound offensive. I'm like, it's not offensive if you like black culture movies. Like, it's embracing the culture of black people. And, like, Soul Food, Two Can Play That Game. Like, and the Medea movie. There's not a Medea movie.
Oh, the Medea movies
she hasn't missed. And so I'm just like, no, there's nothing wrong with that. That's great. I'm the same way. Like, there's a certain genre or culture that isn't mine, like, but I'll still embrace it if it's good. If you like it, I think there's nothing wrong with saying that you like it. It's the very opposite. But yeah, she loves all of those movies. And but yeah, I guess that's about it for her honorable mentions. But yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and say number one. We'll finish on your number one because I'm kind of curious to say. But my mom's number one favorite movie was Under the Tuscan Sun with Diane Lane. And Diane Lane seemed to be a very inspirational choice because there's a lot of movies that she had with Diane Lane, like Must Love Dogs, Unfaithful. Like, she was going to this Diane Lane kick for a while, but I think it pretty much started with Under the Tuscan Sun, about a woman who moves to Tuscany and just begins her life after, I guess her husband got divorced, or they got a divorce or something, and she's in her 40s. So she's almost like reestablishing her life and career, and moves to the island of Tuscany off of Italy. And my mom to this day is still like, I want to go see Tuscany. I want to go see it. I want to go see it. And it's funny because I never dismissed that remark or that claim, because I'm the same way. Like, that would be like me still wanting to go to New Zealand to see where Peter Jackson filmed The Lord of the Rings. Like, I want to go see where he filmed that. I'm planning hopefully a birthday trip to Martha's Vineyard up north by Massachusetts, where they filmed Jaws, because I want to go see where they filmed all the Jaws locations, and hopefully not find a real shark, but that kind of idea is drawn in similarities to my mom. Like, she wants to go to the island of Tuscany because of that movie. She loves that movie so much. She just loves how it looks, how it sounds. She thinks, she loves Diane Lane in it. She just, everything about it. And that's probably one of her most, like, watched movies that she has. But yeah, her favorite, she told me, she's like, I'm like, all right, I need a number one. Just give me what you think would be a number one. I'm shocked it wasn't something like Sweet Home Alabama or something. But I was like, but please just tell me just what you think out of all these that we've talked about. She's like, okay, yeah, go ahead and say Under the Tuscan Sun. So I was like, okay, I'll say that. Under the Tuscan Sun, if you've seen it. I think it's a good movie. I mean, it's not one that I've gone back over and over to see multiple times, but I like Diane Lane. I think she's a great actress. She's gorgeous in everything. And as she gets older, she's still, like, just ever since she was Cherry Valens in The Outsiders, like, there's not been a time in that woman's career where she wasn't just, like, magnanimously beautiful, So yeah. She's just timeless actress, and
she doesn't age apparently either.
No,
so.
and if she does, she still looks great doing it. But yeah, Under the Tuscan Sun is my mom's number one. So Chris, please, if we are to dare, your mom's number one.
This was like, I have to tell you, this was a complete shock to me. I knew she liked this movie. I didn't know it was her favorite movie of all time. But my mom's favorite movie of all time is Rocky 1.
Really?
Yeah,
Man, she's a sports nut indeed.
dude, I'm telling you, like it blew me away. I'm like, out of all the movies you've seen, and all the love stories that you read, and all the nasty cochino books you read, Rocky 1 is your favorite movie of all time. She said, "Yep." I was like, "Okay,
I
all
mean,
right."
what did she? Why? Like, I'm curious. Like, what was
It's
it
just
about it?
it. It's comes that movie came out in time in her life when it brings back a lot of happy memories, a lot of time with her family. That movie, when it comes out, it reminds her a lot of her brothers. The way I know you've met my Uncle Ben before,
Oh
right?
yeah, of course.
So a lot of people have said that Sylvester Stallone and my Uncle Ben, they in that movie, they remind each other. My Uncle Ben reminds them of him in that movie,
Yeah.
and the way he acts and the way he is and stuff like that. And
Sure.
it's just a lot of nostalgia for her.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. You know how my mom, she doesn't say a lot, and when she does say words, sometimes they don't make sense.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna leave it at, she told me this is my favorite movie, and I asked her why. She goes, I don't know, just because. Okay, mom.
She's like, damn it, I'm doing a podcast, woman. I
I
need to
know.
know.
I need information.
But
And
sometimes, like you said, less is more, and if that's her favorite, I mean, and also Rocky's one of the best movies in American history. So I mean, it won Best Picture of 1976. So it's like, I mean, when you hear something like that, that's almost like people saying, "Well, what's your favorite movie of all time?" The Godfather. Okay, yeah, I get it. It's like, I understand that's not a choice that's without a reasonable doubt, but
right, like, you don't have to explain how good the movie is or why. I mean, it's just okay. It's a
Right.
great movie. I understand.
I did
But-
like how her list got progressively better, though. It was a nice
Yeah.
like incline, and I guess Drumline didn't make the top 3, but
No.
that's okay. And yeah, I mean that's a pretty strong movie to end on. And what's funny is, like, with moms, like, moms don't really, not to say they don't watch movies or anything, but
Right.
moms are always, I can't speak for all moms, but I know my mom, like, she has a certain taste, and she's gonna stick. Oh, another one was Beauty Shop. Like, she loves Beauty Shop. But movies like that, like, she likes what she likes. She's not gonna venture out. She's not gonna be watching the new A24 movie being released this week.
Right.
That's for damn sure. And she's an 80 for Brady type of gal. So it's that niche that works for our moms. But I'm a little surprised by that. And you were saying, like, oh, my mom's picks are gonna be crazy. They're gonna be bad. I mean, dude, that's some pretty legit.
No. And I said that prior to her telling me what this list
I
was,
see.
because I thought there was going to
Yeah.
be Drumline and Stomp the Yard, and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
And then she hits me with this, and I'm like, okay, yeah, they're good movies, but are you just telling me these because you know they're good and you don't really want to tell me your favorites?
Right?
This is what I'm thinking, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Oh, she like sets you up to
Yeah.
I got you. No, I don't think she would do that. Like, your mom's a pretty honest person. But yeah, that's a pretty solid 3 for sure. So I mean, before you send us off, like, are there any other particular moments of going to the movies or a movie that you share with your mom that you remember?
I was going to ask you this. Do you remember the very first movie you went to go see with your mom?
I mean, it definitely was in the early 90s. Like, I do remember, like, my dad taking me to the movies a lot more. That was, like, kind of a thing that my dad had always done. And I think even as a baby, my dad likes to say that, oh, you would stop crying by us just putting you in front of the TV. And I don't know if he just says that as a joke, but then I see pictures of me as a baby just sitting in front of the TV. So I do remember seeing movies with my, like, Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Batman, 89 and 88 respectively, with my dad. But, like, with my mom, I think there was probably something like Home Alone in 1990, like way back then, man. And I do remember seeing Edward Scissorhands with my mom in the movie theaters, like early on, and it just never stopped from that point. And I don't know, what about you? Do you remember?
I don't remember the very first one. My mom tells me what my first movie is with her, and it was Snow White. Not to show my age, or no. Apparently, it was in the theater.
Yeah, it had. Well, Snow White came out like 1930s, man. It had to have
I
been
could
like
have.
a
I could have
re-release.
been. I'm a vampire, bro. You don't know me.
Right. Well, it probably was like a re-release that they had
Yeah.
done, and then or like an anniversary of that or something
Of some
like that.
sorts, yeah.
But that makes sense.
But that was my very first, and like I think she said I was like 2 or 3 years old. So of course I'm not going to remember it. But what I do remember going to the movies with my mom is that, we were never wealthy. We never had a lot of money, so all the movies that we did go see were dollar movies.
Yeah.
Back when we had dollar theater. And I do remember some of my very first memories walking into a theater and the dollar movies was the sticky ass floors,
Stale
us
popcorn.
getting stale popcorn, us getting one bucket, having to share.
Shout out to the Showtime 4.
That's right, baby. One drink, and that was it, man. And I freaking loved it. It was a treat for us to go to the movies like that, and it started not as passionate as you probably with movies, but man, I can tell you this: it started me with the passion of just pictures and visual effects, and kind of leading me into what I do now for a living. Graphic artist and advertising and all that. Like, I can see where a bunch of that had influence on me. So, hats off to my mother.
I was also thinking of a couple of instances growing up in high school, especially like starting in high school. Me and my mom had this tradition of going every Saturday, no matter what, unless I had like a wrestling tournament or something on the weekend. Every Saturday, it was our plan to go to Japanese Steakhouse for the lunch special, and after that, we would just not walk. We would drive right over to the movie theater and see whatever was playing. And dude, I kept that up even in college, man. I was never one of those kids that I was like, especially boys, boys like, I don't want to hang out with my mom. That's weird. Or you get embarrassed and stuff. But dude, I was never embarrassed to hang out with my mom. I didn't give a shit. Like, if anybody was like, you go see movies with your mom, dude, if anything, I would get pissed. Like, I'm like, shut up. Like, nobody ever was rude about it or picked on me about it. But if they did, I probably would have been a little bit mad about it. But me and my mom, we would go every weekend. We would go see a movie, go eat at Japanese Steakhouse, and then go see a movie at the movie theater. And yeah, that was a long-standing tradition. And it's kind of sad because, like, if I visit her now, we don't really go see movies that much anymore. Mostly because it takes time away from when we should be like visiting each other and stuff and talking and stuff like that. But man, I will also. This isn't about the movie theater per se, but I do have to give my mom a Medal of Valor. And when we would go to Hastings, and for anyone who doesn't know what Hastings was like, basically the Blockbuster of Amarillo, Texas. Like, it was that was our video store, and one of the many video stores we had there. But my mom, what she would do is, and I wasn't like trying to get her back for making me wait at the mall all day with her, but we would go to the video store and she's like, okay, just pick one. Go pick one movie. So we would be at Hastings and she would either be with me or she would just be like in the magazine section upstairs where you can oversee the whole store. So she could see me wherever I was. But she said, go pick one. And she said, you would take so long picking one movie. And there will be times when I would have like 4 or 5 in my hand, and I'd have to narrow it down to one. And man, that sucked. That was so impossible to do. But she would say that you took so long at the video store. I'm like, well, why didn't you go get me, or why didn't you tell me, hey, it's time to leave? And my mom, she just said, well, because I know you love those movies, so I didn't want to take that away from you. Dude, I'm gonna cry. But yeah, it's like that was my mom, as selfless as she could be, and oh my god, dude, I could just see myself where I would be like, please, can I have two? Can I just please have two, please? And she was like, no, just one. And she said I would literally beg for more than one movie. It was pretty bad, but
Oh yeah.
Thankfully for her. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes she did get me two, just probably to shut me up. But hey, don't get me two, because then I won't ask for two from here on out. But still, like, I always remembered that, and that was always so good of her to wait around for me to choose the right movie. Because, man, Chris, I didn't just choose the movie. I had to read the box. I had to read the notes of who made the movie, who directed the movie. I'm looking at the pictures of every back cover. Dude, those VHS
Thank God we didn't have internet on the phone back then, because then it would triple your time. Hold on, let me watch the trailer. Hold on, let me look at the critics' reviews on IMDb or something.
When we were getting the internet, like around the early 2000s, and it was just trying to wait for a movie trailer to load up was unbearable, man. And there was no way of saving it. There's no way of duplicating it into some other application to where you can save the media file. Once it downloaded after like 20 minutes, you could start watching it, but then if it caught up like halfway and it wasn't done yet, then you have to wait for it to be finished. Oh, watching movie trailers back then was such a chore on the internet, man. And the only way you could do it is before the movie on the tape or before the movie at the theater. And man, just to see how movie trailers are now. Kids are so spoiled now, man. You can just fire one up.
Just go to YouTube and find it all.
Yep, that's it. But yeah, man, but that's our moms. Those are their picks. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Not bad. All right, guys. Thank you so much for always listening, and shout out to all the moms that listen and the moms that don't listen, because you know what? You are one of a kind, each and every one of you, and we got to thank you all for life.
Right.
Without you, we're not here.
They can't listen because they're probably too busy cleaning up after us, feeding us, clothing us, and doing all that stuff.
Even at the age of 40, they still do that for me. So, guys, thank you for listening to this week's show. Wherever you're listening to, whether it's iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, go ahead, hit the subscribe, and so you know exactly when we drop new episodes every week. And then while you're there as well, go ahead and drop those reviews. 5 stars would be great. Just helps us get seen a little bit more on all the podcast platforms. And then on your way over there to the social media world, go ahead and search for us everywhere. We're the Screen Addicts Podcast, and you can just search that on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok, and you'll be sure to pull us up. And if you're on Twitter, it's screen_addicts. Addicts is spelled ADDICS. Also, go back over to Facebook and look for the private group, the Screen Addicts Fanatics, and that's where we're most active, dropping trailers, movie news, TV news, and all the funny stuff as well, guys. So go check that out and become one of our fanatics if you want. And then if you have any questions, suggestions, or just want to be a part of the show, you can drop us an email at screenaddictspodcast@gmail.com, and we will read those emails above and take everything into consideration. Absolutely. So again, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We know it was a little quick, but as for me, good night.
I love you, Mom, and adios, amigos.